Maple Heights goes, I know that this was a thought and an idea from the board in 2021, I guess. Could you speak to how you guys wrote the original application? Because there's some stuff out there that this is a stargazing pad, and that we've spent township resources on stargazing instead of doing infrastructure on roads. Can you speak to that for the public and maybe anybody watching on Facebook?
Absolutely. So basically, we applied for an LSA grant in the winter, last fall, late fall, through the Redevelopment Authority of Washington County. There's very specific things that you're able to apply for. So like we did get LSA funds for sewage things in the past, but it has to be, and I accidentally clicked out of it, but for like community betterment, it has to be part of the your planning or your comprehensive plan as well as the county's comprehensive plan. Sorts of things like that. And so part of what's prioritized, and we've talked about being prioritized in the township as well as is a big priority of the county right now, is creating more green spaces. And what we learned was favorably looked upon for this grant cycle was green spaces, because outdoor spaces, COVID friendly, all sorts of things like that. And so based on the information that we had about what was within the confines of the grant that could be applied for, plus what they were looking favorably upon for this grant cycle, we decided to try and go for something green space oriented. As far as the stargazing idea goes, so this was not that it won't be great for that, but the idea is that there is a big plot of land that's owned by the township right now. That's one of the former Nike sites. And it is a beautiful piece of property, but unfortunately it has a whole bunch of dilapidated structures that are very hazardous, not because there's hazardous waste or anything up there, but just because they're dangerous structures. And we do have concerns about people getting in there and injured, even though it is fenced off and everything like that. So this was a great opportunity to receive grant fundings to remediate that land and turn it into land that the public can use. This was just the first stage where we're basically taking down all of those structures and getting it ready for more additions. So this would be taking down the structures and adding a path, or kind of working with the path that's already there, so it would be a nice walking loop and it could be used by residents. And then additionally, extra phases could potentially add park equipment, pavilions, things like that. So it's a first stage proposed of a whole park project to make some unused, very beautiful land available for our citizens and the citizens of surrounding communities.
And what is the pledge? What is the amount that's proposed that we're asking for?
I want to be accurate. Give me one moment.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So the packet is LSA DCD grant application. The total amount of the project is $621,860. And that's for remediation of the land, taking all those buildings down, doing the environmental assessment that's necessary, asbestos testing and remediation if needed.
There's a gasoline tank.
A gasoline
underground
that would have to be taken care of, things like that. And that includes also grubbing and clearing, I'm learning, of the land, getting it ready for actually being a park, and the addition of a path, the parking area, some signage, all sorts of stuff like that. We would be applying for 521, yada, 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 if the township wanted to go with the match funding route. If not, that's okay for this grant. But,
So we have the option of going with match funding or not participating in matching funds.
That's correct. It is not necessary for this application. However, as we know, grants are generally looked more favorably upon if they are matched by the entity.
Do we have an amount that we would have to pledge to this?
That you can totally make up. The last time that we applied for this, we pledged $100,000 because we had like 4 years to use the funds or something like that. That's not necessarily outlined in this application.
It's not even on the agenda.
What I could research about this, what was different about this was apparently it's different LSA money with different requirements because of COVID. It was online gambling, so it went through the courts or whatever what areas would get that slot allocation because the people were sitting at home online. So it made a lot more available money to communities that weren't necessarily anywhere near a casino. So it's a new, I talked to somebody one of the writers of the playbook and stuff the other night. She was explaining to me that it is a lot easier not to have to get this without as much matching money.
Less matching money?
She said you don't have to have as much of a match. She said there's a lot of, what made me interested is I sat in the audience at Peters Creek Sanitary and they were passing a resolution for this. And they were actually doing something for McCombs Road. They were asking for $1 million. They weren't matching anything and they're expecting to get 500,000. So I was just sitting in the audience thinking, how would they expect to get that much matching? Nothing. So I started to research about this new LSA money and why it's going through a different circuit and that there is a time limit. But if you have a thing ready to go, they had something over there ready to go. Apparently they've been trying to do that project over there for a few years, so they had a plan ready to go to throw in the mix. But
What do you say, Sean? Everything we've ever done with matching funds, we've done pretty well.
I mean, my understanding is if the
You're willing to put money
township's
up.
throwing a bone into the mix,
Yes.
it's looked more favorably upon.
I've never heard that, you know.
But, I think that no matter what, it 100% makes sense to go ahead with it one way or the other. There's no reason not to, like Terry said, I mean, it's getting those buildings down and then it's really creating the bone work for a nice park one day. It's gonna have parking, it's gonna have a walking trail. Beyond that, it'll be cleared area, but it's like a sandbox for whatever someone in the future wants to do to make it a park, whether they want to put a amphitheater up there or maybe a pool, anything. I mean, it's a decent chunk of land and the sky's the limit there.
Yes, exactly.
And a beautiful piece of property with a whole lot of views.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 11 of 2022, authorizing township staff to apply for LSA funds through the DCED, including the application fee of $100 and matching funding of $100,000.
I'll second.
Okay, Dare motion, track second, any deliberation?